Special Projects Coordinator for the Army Wife Network. Welcome to another Facebook Live MilSpouse Empowerment Moment. We are here live to bring you encouragement and empowerment every Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time and 10 a.m. Mountain Time. Today's topic is centered around 3 things or reminders that I have found vital through all seasons of life that I have walked through, but especially as I've learned to start navigating MilSpouse life. My husband and I were married early November of 2019, and I was super excited about all the things that MilSpouse and Army life would bring to us. We have been together for 3 years when we got married, and we had always done the long distance thing, so I had always kind of had a slight glimpse of Army life when I would fly down to Fort Benning for graduation and just to see him, but I wasn't really sure exactly what I was getting myself into. And when we first got married and I moved from Pennsylvania to Fort Bliss, Texas, which is our current duty station, I was kind of in for a rude awakening because I had set really high expectations for myself. And I found myself in a funk for like the first month we were there. And I'll never forget, one day my husband was playing Xbox and he looked over at me and said, "Are you okay? Like, you don't seem okay here." And I was like, "No, I'm miserable." And it kind of, like, thinking back now, like those words, like "I'm miserable," kind of surprised me because I don't consider myself like a pessimist or anything, but it was like the truth. And I kind of realized I needed to change my situation. And as I was kind of reflecting the next day, I came up with 3 things that I remind myself daily or whenever I'm struggling or in a funk. And the 3 words are simple. It's just this, here, and now. And I will break them down for you as we go along, kind of what they mean to me and how they've helped me. So this, number 1, is this. And when I think of this, I think of like a statement, something that's true, something that I need to take in. And for me, that's the saying, grace, not perfection. And this is a huge one, and it's hard for me because I am a perfectionist through and through. I am a type A personality and an Enneagram 1, if you're into that. And because of my perfectionist ways, I set high expectations for myself. So when we moved, I thought, okay, I'm going to get a job, I'm going to settle our house, I'm going to be involved in all things Army life and just kind of hit the ground running and take off and thrive in this new place. And none of that happened. I was really struggling. And I had to remind myself that you don't have to do it all at once. You don't have to do it together. Just take one thing at a time. And it sounds like such a simple concept, but for me, it really wasn't. I love lists, and whatever I can accomplish today is kind of how I feel satisfied and check it off as a successful day. So this was a hard reminder, and I had to tell myself that while I have all these roles as, you know, a new wife, a MilSpouse, I have to stop and press pause. And some of you have a lot more roles than I have at the moment, whether you're a mom, a businesswoman, a coach, whatever your role is. We're always kind of pulled in a few different directions to fulfill those roles daily. And sometimes I just have to pause for a moment and regroup and say, okay, here's what I can do today. I'm going to show myself some grace. It's not what I would want for myself to accomplish today, but it's something. And I read a quote recently that said that hustling can't. And it kind of makes me laugh because, like I said, I love to hustle. I love to do all the things. But give myself grace and cut myself some slack, I feel more productive and I'm happier and I'm a more better person to be around through that day than if I'm giving myself all this negative talk and really kind of beating myself down. So I also noticed that when I show myself grace, I can accomplish a lot more. So I encourage you to show yourself grace no matter what season of life you're in. I know that I need to focus on what matters, and that is a day-to-day task. My days don't look the same, and some days if I can't get dinner done but my husband comes home and we cook dinner together, I chalk that up as a win because we enjoy cooking together, and it's something simple as spending time together. And these expectations that, oh, I have to have X, Y, and Z done, are not from him. They're all from me, and he's grateful just to spend time together. So I love to celebrate the small victories. I'm a huge celebrator, and I think that kind of sums this up is, show yourself some grace, celebrate the small victories. Maybe your task was to clean the bathroom today, and that's all you got to, and like, good for you, girl, because you're doing it. You're doing something. Something as small as like grabbing myself a Starbucks to celebrate, or a cup of coffee, or sitting down to read a book because I'm like, I got something big done, and now I'm going to celebrate this win. So show yourself grace. You don't have to be perfect day in and day out, and your attitude and perspective will change a lot. Number 2 is the here, and this is applicable to a couple of things. Whether your here is geographically, like where you physically are, whether your here is where you're at spiritually, mentally, maybe it's your career goals or family goals, whatever that is, it's kind of like your current season. And I love the quote, "Bloom where you are planted." And I think this quote has a lot of controversy in military life. I was researching different perspectives, and someone wrote an article that said you can only bloom when your conditions are right. And she gave the analogy of a plant, needs good soil, needs water and sunlight. And while that's true for the plant, I think we can control ourselves as the condition to kind of bloom where we're planted. And trust me, like I said, when we first moved to our duty station, I was miserable. And it is okay to be upset and to be angry, to hate where you are, whether that's your geographic location or maybe you're not, accomplishing those goals in the timely fashion that you want, which, remember, show yourself some grace. But the big thing is not to stay there. And that was huge for me. So the first month when I was just kind of throwing myself a pity party, I met one of my friends, Annika, and she asked me if I wanted to get brunch. And brunch is like my love language. I love brunch so much. And so we went to brunch and we like hit it off. And it was kind of like this reset, like mental thing for me. And it kind of clicked like, oh, brunch was great. Annika's great. You can thrive here. You just have to change your perspective. And so I've learned that when we're going to a new duty station or we're moving and there's big transitions, like your mentality is what's going to determine your situation. And don't let someone else's bad experience become your experience, because that is just going to be miserable and not set you up for success. There was so much negativity I heard, whether in Facebook groups or from people who had been to our duty station, that said, Fort Bliss sucks. You're going to hate it, but you'll get through it. And so I just had this connotation that we were going to be miserable. And of course, through all that transition, I just kind of sat there. And then because we got married in November, the holidays were right around the corner and we couldn't go home. And I just thought, oh my goodness, that is another thing against Fort Bliss. This sucks. And when the holidays rolled around, I woke up on Christmas morning and I realized I wasn't miserable. Yeah, we would have loved to have been with our family, but I got to spend time with my husband one-on-one, which we had never had because, like I said, we were always long distance and he was deployed through our engagement. And just that little time together was so special, and we got to create our own traditions and just be together, which of course is so important. And it was really funny to me being in a place that was warm during Christmas because I was from the north. So just those little things, changing your mentality, can really help you be like, okay, this isn't so bad. It's not ideal, but it's not the worst thing ever. And when we condition our brain to choose the productive and the positive things in life, you will reach for that like automatically, and you will crave that out of habit. So training your mind to kind of see the positive is going to really be beneficial. And you don't have to be positive Polly every day. I'm definitely not, but when you're more aware of it, it will definitely help you. And one thing that I've used for a little over a year is called a Happiness Project Journal, and I found it on Amazon. It's just a little blue book, and it has each day of the year, and on each page it says, like, for instance, February 6th, and it has slots. 5 slots, and you can put in the year. And what you do is you write a sentence for each day of the year, just about something you did. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. And it's so cool to look back and kind of see where you were or what you were doing and kind of see where you are now, and you can have 5 years per page. And so I'm on my second year, and it's cool to go back and see. And some days things are just very ordinary and nothing exciting happens. And so I try to use that as a way to think, what am I grateful for that day? What happened that, even though it was a little mundane, is still something that I can pick out and say, today was a good day. So that is something I love to use at night. I keep it on my nightstand to reflect through the day, and it really helps with staying in the right mindset and just being grateful for where you're at, even though it might not be your first choice. And another thing that has helped me kind of bloom where I'm planted is looking for opportunity. And this can be something so simple, or you can take it to a larger scale. My sister really encouraged me to look for free things to do in my area. And one of them was a cycle class. Your first one is free. And I love cycling, but it's very expensive. And so I took my husband, and we went to this free cycling class for an hour, and it was so fun. And I got to exercise, I got to be with people, and I didn't have to spend any money. So there's a lot more opportunities as far as gyms like that. I know CrossFit offers things, Orange Theory. But then I also had a girl friend request me on Facebook because she saw that I was from Pennsylvania and thought we could be friends. And it's funny to me because I never would have done something like that, but I met her for coffee, and she was wonderful. And I love kind of being able to grow my network in a way that I wouldn't have before. But just those little pockets of opportunity can really change your experience too. I wanted to be involved, and when the Army Wife Network position opened up, I jumped on that. I was so excited just to kind of have something to put my time and energy into. And I know that's going to look different for everyone, kind of where you are. I know it's a lot more time consuming when you have kids to kind of give up your free time, but those little pockets of simple opportunity can really help change your mindset. And number 3 is the now. And this is more personal than kind of number 2. This is you personally. And it's what I like to call filling your cup. And you might have heard of this, and a lot of people interpret it differently, but for me, I think of it as kind of the energy that I have. Because when my cup is essentially full, I have more energy to give time and love and resources to my husband or to people. And when I don't focus on things for myself, it gets depleted really quickly. And when it's depleted, I am not super pleasant to be around, and I don't have a lot to give. And it's completing those must-dos daily while still making time for yourself. And don't consider that as selfishness. Consider it as filling your energy and doing something that's essential for you. Again, this is going to look different for every single person because everyone's demands daily is going to look so different. But even taking 5 to 10 minutes for yourself a day is going to be huge in the grand scheme of how you feel, how you act, and what you can give to others. A filled cup allows you to be your best self with that energy. And I know that when I show up for myself and I'm intentional, I feel better, and my clarity is so much better. And so I really encourage you to kind of find what fills your cup. And for me, I don't think I just have one cup per se. I think I have a couple. And one of them is self-love and self-confidence. It's, I'm sure, something we all struggle with every day. And I noticed that the biggest thing for me is going to the gym. And I don't have to do it every day, but even if I go for a walk or just a quick 1 mile run, my mental clarity is feeling is so much better than when I just sit on my couch all day. And I went through a phase where I just had a lot on my plate during this season of life. I was graduating college, and I was trying to plan a wedding, and I just felt super, super bogged down because I just had all of these lists of demands. And I noticed that I was relying on other people to fill those cups for me because I wasn't taking time for myself. And one thing in particular, I had took a break from working out, from doing really anything physical because I was always exhausted. And I realized very soon that I was looking to my fiance at the time for that affirmation that I was for confidence, that I was pretty, that I looked good or whatever. And while that's great, he can compliment me. I was constantly looking for that, and I would get upset with him when he wasn't filling that for me. And I realized that's not his job to fill that need for me, and I need to kind of fill that myself. And while it's great, like I said, he can compliment me, and that's really sweet, and it's really awesome if your significant other does that, but I can't expect him to fill that for me. So when I started, going for a walk while listening to lecture notes or calling someone on the phone, I noticed a huge difference. Another cup for me is just kind of like my sanity as a whole, and I love cleaning. I love it, and organizing, and that's another cup. That if something's kind of in a wreck, if I can fix that quickly, I kind of feel satisfied. I'm like, okay, I can conquer the next thing for the next day. Another thing is, like, who doesn't love to be encouraged and just like feel loved and valued? And one of my favorite things to do for that is just, whether it's with a friend or myself, like grab a Starbucks. I can totally make coffee at home. My husband even got an espresso maker, but there's something about going to Starbucks and kind of just getting yourself a treat, having someone else do it for you, and it kind of just sounds simple, but it really just kind of lifts my spirits when I need that little extra pick-me-up. And I read a quote way back when that said, sometimes you just need the cup with a little green straw, and I couldn't relate to that more if I wanted to. Sometimes you just need that extra boost of encouragement. So I just challenge you guys to think of something simple, whether it's, maybe you woke up an hour before your kids got up and you just got to sit in silence with your coffee or drink, or maybe it's while your kids nap, or after work, maybe you set aside a small pocket of time before you cook dinner and kind of debrief for the day, just to do something that is going to fill your cup and give you that extra energy to pour into someone else, or to just kind of keep you going. And I hope that was helpful. Like I said, I've been a new MilSpouse for a few months, and these have been really key for me. And I hope that no matter where you are in your season of life, these can just be some refreshers to get you through your day. So we encourage you to check us out here at the AWN Network on social media. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter. Our handle is @ArmyWifeNetwork. We also encourage you to share this post, and feel free to email us at info@armywifenetwork.com. And we are here every Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern and 10 a.m. Mountain for your MilSpouse Empowerment Moment. Have a great day. This is your AWN Command Team signing off.